We brought gay Christmas to the suburbs.
As if. Welcome back to our mid-century ranch in the suburbs. We're happy to show you around our version of suburban Christmas.
And there's lots to see.
We've been doing it like this for about 15 years, where we just go a little bit over the top. We grew up in the 70s, so our Christmas was always a little bit lowbrow. Yeah, we used to call it a Woolco Christmas. Woolco was a discount store and very much kind of the target of its day. And whatever decorations were on sale seemed to be the decorations my mom really loved.
For us, it was a bit like National Lampoon's Holiday, because the tree would invariably be huge. And it's always nice to smell a real Christmas tree in a house. So it's nice that we've got now a couple trees in the house.
If you count the bottle brush trees, there are 148 trees in the house. Not many of them real, but a few of them real.
There you go. Enough.
We've tried to create a bit of a story. So right from the moment you walk in the front door, there's a bit of a Christmas moment and element that sets the tone for the rest of the house. And again, it's a bit of a story of humble Christmases past. This is a picture of me on Santa's lap in Eaton's in Winnipeg at some point when I was a wee little thing. And my mother either had a really good sense of humor in dressing me up as an elf, or she was really sadistic.
This is me at my daycare in Elmira. It was a bar of soap inside a foam frog. And I loved it, and I was just like, the look of sheer joy on my face is absolutely hilarious.
So there's a tabletop tree that's decorated with what I call heirloom glass baubles. They're transparent. I got them at Holt Renfrew about 20 years ago in Montreal. And I break about 2 of them a year, so that collection's dwindling as we speak. They have to hang straight. Everything has to hang straight. This is driving me crazy because this is clearly making contact with the branch, but at some point you have to let it go. Next, you discover the landing, where we've got a little gem. It's almost like a little
Charlie Brown Christmas tree kind of thing.
Yeah, it sort of references that.
We found some disco ball decorations, and we thought some Studio 54 energy to the suburbs, and putting it on the top of the stereo seemed like a smart move.
The next room on the tour is the living room. That is the perfect backdrop for 143 of the 148 trees in the house. We've just been collecting bottle brush trees for a while now. A lot of them come from places like Spruce in Toronto, who they've got the very best, most upscale, gorgeous bottle brush trees. But we've been collecting bottle brush trees for about a decade. The forest grows every year. It's gotten to the point where you can't see the forest for the trees, pretty much. We have quite a few little vintage touches in the room as well. So we've got a few Eaton's catalogs of the 1970s. We've got Simpsons catalogs from the 70s and a couple of vintage magazines. So I have a little collection of a few iconic magazines. Harper's Bazaar, one of their first Christmas covers after their relaunch. I think that Eaton's in Canada had really the best marketing. And I mean, when you were growing up in the 70s, you would wait for this catalog and you would pore over every single page, and I still do. Christmas gems.
And also some of our vintage candles that we've either found while traveling or inherited from childhood. So yeah, some cute little touches there too. They've survived a number of years without being lit. So we got this in a cute little shop in Covent Garden when we were wandering in London years ago. And it's just the cutest little thing, and it just makes me smile.
I was just in the store in, I think it was probably September, and that's usually when the Christmas pangs start. And this little gingerbread cushion was just sitting there, and he had to be purchased. So Laird came back from a work trip, and it was like, what is that exactly, and why is it there in September? We have our little jungle at the window that we figured had to be decorated for Christmas as well, so we just strung a few lights within it. What do you call it again?
Yeah, I refer to that as Midnight at the Oasis, just because that was the first thing that came to mind. And I hear Catherine O'Hara from Best in Show singing it, and it just makes me laugh.
And then in the dining room, we kept it really simple. We just put out a collection of Finnish and Scandinavian glass, things that look like snowballs and ice. Seems to work with the holidays.
The coziest room though is the bar, because
Yeah.
it's glittery. It's just a super cozy room, perfect for eggnog
And bourbon.
and bourbon
And champagne. And whatever else is in the bar.
festive drinks.
So we've got a friend who is a Kentucky bourbon, either a colonel or an ambassador. And through that program, she got us little swag, sweaters for our favorite bourbon. Keeps our favorite bourbon warm. Maker's Mark.
It's sweater weather.
Sweater weather for our bourbon.
Yep. We do have a favorite festive drink, which would be a Manhattan. It warms you up, and we kind of have them all year, but enjoy them most at Christmas.
It's a very festive tipple.
Yeah.
Must be the cherry.
I'll just.
Whoa.
Ooh, that was close.
The inspiration for that was the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer animated show, the one that had Burl Ives. It was sort of like glam in a weird sort of way. If ever there was a time to be maximalist, it's Christmas.
Tinsel's got really hard to find, so we have to recycle it year over year. We pick it off very carefully and place it back even more carefully. And it's our way of recycling, I guess.
We don't just want to buy stuff for the sake of buying stuff. I'd say that 95% of what we have is either handed down from our parents, from our families, or found used on eBay.
And there's just always a nice memory of bringing stuff out every year and looking, okay, I remember this from wherever we got it. And there's always a story associated with whatever we have. And it's nice remembering those.
The Christmas tour continues with my workspace, office/studio. It's where I do most of my Lego sculptures. In there we have another, what I call heirloom tree. It's a 7-foot silver aluminum vintage tree that I got on eBay, again, about 20 years ago. And it's in mint condition and worth probably more than the house. I mean, these things are almost impossible to find in that condition. We really love transparent bulbs because the shine of the aluminum comes through, and it's just this like explosion of glimmer in that room. I mean, I spend most of my day there, so about 10 hours a day working. So hey, why shouldn't it be a little bit festive? And it makes for a very interesting Zoom backdrop, I find.
And assembling that tree is a bit of work because you have to wear gloves, because we did it without gloves the first year, and it's so sharp. There were cuts, so we now assemble with gloves.
It's the only Christmas tree that slices, dices, and makes julienne fries. The family room downstairs is really an homage to the Christmas family rooms of the 1970s and 80s. We just felt it had a nice homey touch, and the decorations in there definitely emphasize that aspect of it. Again, more kitsch, more approachability, and hopefully it just kind of reminds us of our Christmases past.
The only thing it needs, I realized today, is stockings hung on the hearth. But that's next year.
Or later today. It's never too late to buy for Christmas. The funny thing is though, come midnight on December 24th, we just want to rip it all down. Like to us, Christmas is all about the lead up. I mean, we keep everything up till January 2nd, but there's that week where it's like, why is this still here?
And the house feels empty afterwards because there's so much stuff that it really does feel very empty.
So we just take care of that by going out and shopping for more stuff to put in the house.